Do you live your life with the excitement of a middle-aged accountant? Well, then you might be in the market for a minivan. That's right, right behind me, I got the 2014 Honda Odyssey with 180,000 miles. Now, if you're like me and had a couple of kids recently, you may have realized that you need a minivan. They are the most functional thing out there. They're better than an SUV if you got small kids, as long as you don't need to tow a 10,000-pound boat. The Honda Odyssey is an immensely popular pick. I reviewed a little bit older one, and that one was a buy. We're gonna take a walk around this 2014, go over the common problems, things you need to look for if you're buying a used one, and decide if it's a buy or if it's a bust. Starting our walk around of the Honda Odyssey minivan. Now, I do think that these kind of look like an inflated Honda Civic. I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's the best description I have of the styling. They did make them look a little bit sportier than prior generations. They do still have some of the paint peeling issues, especially on the white vans, that is typical for pretty much all Hondas. And the roof racks on these I can see are pretty sun faded, which actually look kind of rough if you're on the side profile. As far as rust, they hold up pretty well, but you do have to look at the wheel wells, and I would always recommend to get underneath and check them out. Headlights oxidize pretty regularly on these, but those are easily cleaned up. Overall, it's definitely a minivan. Under the hood of the Odyssey here, we have the 3.5 liter VTEC V6 that makes 248 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. As you can hear, this thing is running really smoothly, really quiet. However, I do need to announce one thing. If you followed along with these reviews at all, you know that I don't like timing belt engines, and Honda uses timing belts in this engine. And this is the second engine for this car because the first one, the timing belt broke. Around 100,000 miles, what is considered routine maintenance is a timing belt replacement. This is an expensive procedure. If you go to the dealer, you're gonna be in the thousands. If you go to a local garage, it might be a little bit less, but it's still a major maintenance and upkeep item. If you were looking at a used one of these and you're around the 100,000 mark or the 200,000 mark, you're probably getting close to where you're gonna need to have the timing belt replaced. While it is considered routine maintenance, it's kind of a shame because it is such a costly repair. Because otherwise, these are pretty reliable engines, but there's a few little things we need to talk about. I've joked about it in the past, but Honda has VCM, variable cylinder management. Pretty common thing across all manufacturers where they shut down some of the cylinders to save you 1 to 2 miles per gallon. And pretty much every manufacturer has issues with it, and Honda is no different. They introduced this system many years ago, and it has been a problem since the very first introduction. They've improved it a little bit, but it still will cause you a bunch of different engine problems, from rough idle, fouling spark plugs, misfires. So what they sell, and it's very cheap, is a VCM muzzler. It turns the variable cylinder management off. Pretty much everyone in any forum will recommend that you do this, and I do too. They're cheap, they're on Amazon, plug that in and forget about it. Moving on from the engine, we're gonna talk about the transmission. This is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Earlier Honda Odysseys had a pretty poor reputation actually, especially by Honda standards, because the transmissions were failing at a somewhat alarming rate. They still ran sometimes at 300,000 miles, but they were failing more commonly than Honda vehicles usually do. Unfortunately, they haven't fixed all the problems. They are much, much better than they were back in 2005, 2006. And they generally don't completely fail, but these are famous for having an issue with the torque converter, which just creates what the people online call a judder or a shudder. This creates a little pulsation as you're accelerating in things. It's just an odd sort of feeling. And if you took one on a test drive, you would know that something is not right. Now, fluid changes can help a lot with that. And these transmissions are very sensitive to keeping up with your fluid changes. There's some reprogramming as well that the dealer can do with these transmissions to help some of that out. It's about 50-50 on whether or not that'll work for you. Another thing I want to mention before we move on to the interior is the AC system. Honda is famous for AC compressors failing, kind of anything actually to do with the air conditioning system. These vans are no different. You're probably going to end up replacing an AC compressor if you have one for more than 50 or 100,000 miles. Overall, it's a pretty reliable powertrain setup, but it just might not be quite as reliable as Honda's reputation. Moving on to the interior, this one is a loaded up version with leather, DVD, lots of different options. My initial thoughts on the interior on these is it's okay. It's run of the mill, but honestly, every minivan that was on the market in 2014 was kind of run of the mill. There wasn't any that I loved the interior in at that point in time. They've improved them much over the years. In newer ones are a completely different story, but there is lots of hard plastic, not anything luxurious. You can tell that it is built to haul a family around. As far as wear and tear, there's not a ton on this one. It seems to be really well cared for. The leather seats, all good, no crazy wear or rips or anything like that. One of the things that this van doesn't have, but I should mention, is the door panel. There's a vinyl section right where your armrest is, and that stuff will come off over time. It just comes loose, the glue dries out, whatever happens, but it really creates an unsightly interior. It's pretty noticeable. I've seen that on several of them, so you want to take a look at that. As far as features and functionality, everything is pretty simple. They have a nice cool door. It's a little cooled compartment up front. You can put some water bottles and things in. That is a really cool feature. I know some other manufacturers have refrigerators and things, but it's still a really nice thing to have. You got easy access to all your buttons. It's typical Honda buttons, which I don't love. They kind of feel cheap and wear out over time. But as far as actual failure, everything in here works. It's good to go. I already mentioned the air conditioning, so as long as your air conditioning is working, everything inside should keep going for a long time. Welcome to the second row in the Honda Odyssey. Notice how that door opened nicely. That is not guaranteed. One of the big problems with Honda Odysseys, but as well as other manufacturers, Honda is just probably a little bit more common, is door sliding issues. Either they don't open, there's lots of different problems. The tracks need greased, but that's one of the big things that fails on these is the power sliding doors. Now, as far as space and everything like that, I got plenty of headroom. I got plenty of leg room. It fits all of the boxes for what a second row should be in a minivan. The second row seats also slide back and forth, so you can get a little bit more, a little less leg room for yourself here or for those in the third row. You got armrests. It's a pretty comfortable place to be. I will say that this second row seat is actually one of the most comfortable second row seats in a minivan. However, you do lose some of the functionality that other minivans offer. So Pacificas and Chrysler Town & Country's, Dodge Caravans of back in 2014 had stow and go seats where the second row seats folded into the floor. These do not have that. You have to physically remove the seats if you want to have a perfectly flat floor. Now, to get into the third row, you would most of the time just go in through the center. But say you wanted to have the seat slide or there's something in the way, you can push here, slide that forward, and now you can get in to the third row of your Honda Odyssey. And back here in the third row of the Odyssey, we actually have some nice features. There is a household outlet and all of your connections for your DVD player up front. As far as legroom and other comfort, it's okay. It's a third row. Not great. I actually think it feels a little bit smaller than some of the other minivans on the market, but it's also not terrible. You're probably not going to have a ton of adults back here. It's going to be for kids. And I know I mentioned before about functionality, and these do fold flat into the rear. So it does give you a flat floor up to the second row here. We are now going to pull out on the road in the Honda Odyssey. Now, I have driven a few of these and they've been okay. Let me get on it a little bit here. You know, the power's pretty decent for what power numbers it is, because a lot of the other manufacturers had higher horsepower numbers. These were just middle of the pack, but it actually feels feels a little sporty, not fast, but a little sporty. The engine was super smooth. The one thing I would say as we're going here, unfortunately, is it does have a little bit of the torque converter transmission judder. It's a little bit of a shaky pulsing. Like I said, it's tough to explain over camera, but you can just feel something. You're like, it's kind of like a vibration. I'm not sure what else to call it. I've never loved the transmissions in the Odyssey vans, and generally I think people agree with me on that because they've had a fair amount of issues going up a hill here. Yeah, same kind of a deal. You can just feel that torque converter. Now, I don't think that the transmission is going to stop working, but it probably needs a flush at least, and the shifts are just a little bit off, but very typical of most of the Odysseys of this age and miles that I've driven. Now, as far as fuel mileage, these guys are rated at 19 and 28, which is pretty good. I mean, 28 for a vehicle this size out on the highway is great. No hate there. I would absolutely be putting that VCM muzzler on though, so you're probably going to knock that down 2 miles per gallon or something, and that might be even a little bit too much. It's probably only really 1. But just for reliability, drivability, and just the annoyance of it, I think that's the direction I would go. I will say, handling wise, we're on a back road here. It feels good. It turns nice, feels less minivan like than you would expect. I actually think the steering feels better than like the Ridgeline, the Pilot. I think these drive actually a little bit nicer than some of those. I got no clunks, no rattles, anything like that, but that is sort of common on these. Kind of, middle of the road as far as that stuff goes, reliability wise. You're gonna be into suspension stuff at about 150,000 miles. You're gonna start noticing a bunch of clunks. The other thing that these are kind of famous for, which is just a normal wear item, is rotors, but they do tend to warp rotors somewhat regularly. Now, I don't know if it's only the OEM ones, but I think it's probably people putting on cheaper ones, and this being a big heavy car tends to warp them more frequently. So in my mind, I've been comparing this to the Sienna, and I've also been comparing it to the Pacifica, but that's not really fair because the Pacifica came out later, but really should be against the Caravan or the Town and Country, which I'm not a fan of from this generation at all. Those are not my favorite minivans. So really, in my mind, I guess I'm thinking about the Sienna, and my comparison is that the Sienna is significantly better, is what I would say, but also significantly more expensive. And it's not like these are terribly unreliable. It's just that the Sienna is a better vehicle. Overall, I'd put the Honda Odyssey right in the middle if we're talking about the big 3 minivans, and that is, they are better than the Chrysler products, and they are worse than the Toyota. Back from the test drive, and now it is time to decide if the Honda Odyssey is a buy or if it's a bust. As I said at the beginning of the video, I just recently was in the market for a minivan. We chose the Chrysler Pacifica. It is probably the least reliable minivan on the market, but I think it offered the best functionality for our life. The best minivan on the market is without a doubt the Toyota Sienna across basically all their years, but they always are double the price of Pacificas and of the Odyssey. The market on a 2014 with 180,000 miles runs somewhere around $7,000. It could be a little bit more if you have less miles, or you one that's in a little rougher shape could be even a little bit less. I do think that is a ton of value for the money to get a van that generally operates pretty decently, but it is not comparable to the Sienna on a day-to-day or in reliability, and the prices reflect that. If you are looking at a used one, it's an absolute must to know whether or not the timing belt has been done, and then take it on a test drive and see if you run into any of the transmission judder problems that we talked about earlier. So today, I'm going to call the Honda Odyssey a buy. I'm not enthusiastic about it. These are sensitive to maintenance, and you really have to know what you're looking at when you go to buy a used one so that you don't end up with a lemon. But as long as it's been well maintained and everything goes well for you on a test drive, or you have a trusted mechanic go over it, I do think that it is a buy. If you guys have one of these and have had a bunch of problems, or if you've had the best experience ever, put those experiences in the comments down below. I want to hear all about it. Thanks for watching.